you so much for joining our webinar today. So this is the third episode of our AI Experts in AI sort of webinar. We're joined today with Tammy Marcato. So I'd love to let Tammy introduce herself and her company.
Hi everyone. Thank you, Nick, for the invitation. It's a pleasure to be here with everyone and whoever is watching later. So I'm Tammy. I work at CPET. CPET is a technical ad tech, let's put it like that. We're focused on technical courses, only online courses. This is a regulated market in Brazil. So I work mainly as a board advisor, overviewing everything that goes from technology to marketing and growth strategies. And that's how I ended up connecting with the brain. But my background, just to share a bit with you, it's from digital transformation. I used to be a partner at KPMG, and I used to lead our practice from digital transformation. So I helped a lot of clients to deal with the challenges of applying technology. And that's one of the things that I think is going to be so cool to share with you today. So, hello.
Hello, and my name is Nick Abram. You guys may recognize me. I've been in a few other webinars, but I'm a business development manager here over at Deep Brain. And yeah, we're so excited to talk to Tammy today. She has a lot of insights. I'm sure if you're familiar with the ed tech space, you're going to get a lot of value in just hearing from what she has to say. So thank you again, Tammy, for joining us. I'd kind of like to start out with the question, which is how did CPET kind of start using AI studios in their operations? And yeah, just kind of love to start with that.
Yeah, sure. Well, so the first thing is always finding the challenge, right? We weren't googling around and said, okay, we had a problem, a big problem, and I think a lot of people can relate if they are not from the educational sector. So we faced a lot of challenges when creating content. For our case, it's for our clients, which are students. So every day there is something new that comes up on the news, or there is an update in the content, and we are one of the biggest like private educational online technical courses in Brazil. So we have more than 30 courses offered to the students that range from really technical ones as, I don't know, electricians to business and logistics. And with this range of content, it's really hard to keep update. So we were facing the challenge that we had great content, we have great tutors, we have a whole amazing team to support us to create things, but we couldn't keep up creating this content. It wasn't enough. So we ended up having outdated content for our students in some class or other. And then we said, might be there a better way to do this? Can we pace up the content creation, bringing to the students something better? And then we started to look in online, and one of our collaborators found Deep Brain into this idea of, hey, maybe we can use this. And what caught our attention, and this is, I think I never told you that, Nick, or at least we didn't comment on the short term.
Oh, this is going to be new for me.
Is that one thing that really caught us attention is the Deep Brain AI does not only look at the content and transcript and just recreate. There is an understanding and then an explanation from that understanding. And we were shocked. And the first time that we had a demo, we sent you a content, and then it had like a purple cover. It was literally a cover with a logo. And then the AI started saying, there is the idea of a company that grows out of nowhere, like a sun rising. And then we went like, oh my God, if we can does this with like a gradient of purple, imagine what we can do with our students. And that's how it started.
Wow.
And that's how we found a great partner to this challenge of getting great content that comes from our tutors and just exponentially distribute it to our students.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense, and I'm glad you guys found that use case. I don't know if we even knew about that use case, so that's super cool. Now, I have, you kind of found this tool that is helping you build out your coursework and stuff like that. How is it kind of exponentially doing that? Like, can you expand more about that?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
So how would it work if we weren't using AI? I think that's the best way to start.
Yeah. Yeah.
So on a real basis, we would create a content. Then we would have to find a teacher that is fit to this content. And sometimes our tutors, they don't like to be in front of the camera. So then it starts a problem. I can have a great tutor, but he doesn't want to record, or he doesn't like to record, or he doesn't even know how to record, which are three real challenges. So then from my pool of tutors, I have just a small amount that are ready for the camera. So we get this one and we say, like, let's go record this content. And then we make a recording depending on the content. Then we would go to a studio, we would rent a studio, then costs associated to this. We would record, we would edit, and then the content would be ready. Depending, the tutor itself would do the recording. Now what we do is that we validate the content with the tutor, and then we insert this content into DeepBrain, and then DeepBrain does the work for ourselves.
Hey, we're not doing the work. The AI is doing the work.
Yeah. Well, the AI, it's our biggest partner then. Because what happens is that you can set so many templates that we tested with students the ways that they can relate depending on the content. So sometimes you can put the AI and the avatars, they are super real, and the way they speak, it really feels like you're having a connection. So you can put the AI into focus, but you can also put the content into focus and let the AI be as a side guide. And that's normally what we learned for ourselves that works the best. So the content takes 95% of the screen, and we have like a 5% area right in the down left corner where the AI is showing. But the main thing is that the student has someone to look at and to listen to and say, okay, I'm being guided into this content. And it's important to notice that the figure of the tutor does not disappear, because they are still supervising the content. And if the student has any questions, they will still go to the tutor to take all the answers they are looking for. So this is a new relation that we found out. And the most amazing thing is that if tomorrow I need to update this content, I don't need to redo all the cycle that I said on the first time. We just go again, new content upload, and then voila, we have the new content on the website.
Wow, that sounds super efficient. But one thing that I kind of picked up is that there's this really interesting dynamic going on between the tutors, CPETCH, and the AI, and kind of the human student. And there's like this really wonderful magic happening. It sounds almost like you guys have found a great sort of recipe for how human and AI interact. Could you kind of explain more about that and your process with that?
Yeah, definitely. I think that I will even overreach a bit the arc. Is every time that we look at AI, there is a part of us in the companies that go like, okay, this is super cool, I want to use it, and you don't know how. And then you start saying like, hey, is this going to work for my company? And the answer for that, and I learned like applying this as a pet, is you will find your way once you have a great partner that will support you through the journey. So when we started with you using the DeepBrain AI, what we figured out is we didn't know how it was going to be the dynamics. We didn't know how the students were going to relate. We didn't know how the tutors are going to relate. But we said, okay, let's do it small. Let's learn step by step. And it was great that we had your support, because on the first day, we just did the onboarding and went like, hey, are you ready to do your content? Do you know what you're doing? Do you need any support? And at the end, it was such a plug and play that we didn't need any support at all. It was super easy. It was almost like the AI talked with us and said, okay, let's work together now. And that's how we ended up doing our exercises, we put the AI at the room almost, and we said, okay, tutors come here. These are the data that we're getting for the students. This is what they are asking. Let's build this together. So when we bring up this solution and we treat them related to the problem, we can do this connection. And that's how it ended up with us. So the tutors are pretty much this entrance point where we look at the content, and then we can just transform this idea to the students through the AI.
Makes a lot of sense. Well, thank you. You've been so wonderful as a partner for us, and I hear you like very happy with us. But I'm sure our audience knows enough about us, and so would love to know a little bit more about you, Temi, and your company. And so you guys are a huge leader in Brazil, especially when it comes to ed tech. Can you explain to our audience now and in the future kind of how you see CPETCH kind of leading the field and how AI is a strategy as part of that leadership?
Yeah, definitely. So for thinking about an ed tech, then I need to decouple a bit of the business model, because we are passing through an educational transformation. I am a daughter of an educator, so I grew up looking and waiting for this transformation, but it's really hard to transform education at scale, because every one of us, we are so unique that our way of learning is so unique as well. But when you think about the way we learn at school or at universities, they are pretty much the way we learned for the last, 100 years. It's exactly the same way. We just kind of changed the model or the platform. Sometimes you can have more like case studies, which is the most modern way of learning right now, but it's still, you have a teacher or a tutor that will give you information that you have to process. We're going to be evaluated through it, and that's it. But there are people that like to learn by doing. There are people that like to learn by listening to it. There are people that need the tutor giving the lecture and that they will understand through that. Some people like to read. And when we focus on a technical course, which is by the end of the course, you need to know how to do things, so you really get out as a technician, it becomes really hard to connect those two dots in a business model that it's going to be profitable from one side, because you need to have the cost balance with the income. And then from the other side, you can have an outcome that generates impact. So you're managing to make people learn. And I think we're just starting the curve. I think it would be really presumptuous for me to say like, yeah, we're rolling into it. But what we are trying to do is capturing all this data from our clients, which are our students, and saying, okay, I will give you many ways that you can capture and learn through your pace. And that's the magic on doing it online, because you can do it at night, during the day. I don't know, if you woke up and you said, okay, I want to study something, then we are available for you. So there is this big difference. But it's giving this content on this personalization. What I can't do right now yet, but I think we will do in the future, and that's part of the transformation through AI that I think we will manage to do, is process this data. So I will only provide to the student the best way for he or she to learn. At this moment, what I do is that I just give, hey, pick it up. What do you want to learn from? And that's the cool thing. I think we are better than we were before. When we started, we just had the books, and it were like PDFs, 100 pages that you had to read through. And then we went, okay, now we have presentations and keynotes and the teacher that is going to explain for you. Now we have audios. Now we have complementary videos. So there are many ways that you can gather and learn from, but we still don't know if Nick is the one that is learning through YouTube or our AI model or through the book that we're providing. And I think that's where the future is going to head to, is we being able to start the personalization from start, from little from scratch. So, for example, Nick becomes a new student. Maybe I would do like, I don't know, an evaluation, just saying like, hey, Nick, let's test it out. I will give you a content and I will show you through ways and I will ask you a question. Let's see how you capture the information better. Because one thing that we still don't know, and there are a lot of researches into this, is how do we diagnose, if that's the way we're going to put it, the best way that you learn? Because you have a feeling. You sometimes say like, yeah, I don't like to read. I can't learn reading. But maybe it's not that you don't know how to learn through reading, is that the way the book is structured, it doesn't fit you. But if it was in snippets or if it were in bullet points, then that would work. So I think that's, just to summarize, that's where we're heading into the transformation, is being able to bring AI into this hyper personalized experience that is based on the best way the student will want to learn, and just the cherry on top that changes during your mood, the time of the day, the season. So I
Oh, you
can't
guys got
stop
big plans.
yeah,
You guys
so
got big
one
plans.
day you go and say like, yeah, I want a video today, and then you're bored in the plane and you go like, yeah, I want to read something, and you need to be ready for this, because we are like that, right? We change our minds sometimes.
Sure. Yeah, it sounds like, data-driven personalization and data-driven customization is kind of the future that CPATCH kind of sees. Is that a correct understanding?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, no, that sounds incredible. Cool. Well, tell me a little bit more about yourself for our audience in the future. Like, how did you get into education? Because I know that you said you used to be at KPMG. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. Can you tell us a little bit more about how your journey was and how you ended up, being as successful as you are today?
Yeah, sure. Well, the first thing is, I think it's a journey, right? I don't think it's a way that I reached the point. I think that I'm through a path. But what got me here, I think that the first thing is just curiosity and not being afraid of the unknown. As and that's probably the thing that I would say to the audience, that we should all be prepared. We are talking about AI here, but the world the world's going to be is going to see so many changes in the next couple years, and knowing that it won't be able to just pinpoint and say this is going to happen, I'm going to like design a clear path to this direction, is the first way to start. So what got me here is that when I first got out of uni, I didn't know what I wanted to do, and I was in peace with that. I had an opportunity to start at the financial service sector, so really off the way we are right now. But then things started to fit into place, like what works for me in a cultural and value-based proposition. So then I jumped across a bit of jobs trying to understand the corporate culture and values that led me to work with marketing, with logistics, with pure technology. And that this is when I fell in love. I just said, like, this is super cool. And
Yeah, you said you had like multiple digital transformations, right?
yeah. So this is 2015. So that's been 9 years now. Uh, and then I've been just trying to figure out how the best way to balance technology and business. That's where I found myself. So I had the opportunity to have a startup for myself. I had a small exit back in the days. And then they invited me for an opportunity at KPMG, and I grew inside of KPMG from training to partner. So that was great. I had like the full journey, and it was an amazing experience. Definitely was a big piece of the professional I became. And during KPMG or any consultancy, you have this super opportunity of working with multiple clients with different sizes, but big corporates, SP 500s, and I did more than 100 projects over time. I think we ended up saying that in the beginning or the invitation, and this is where it comes to it, is understanding that a lot of companies, or all the companies, they face their own challenges when we are seeing this transformation. So looking to uh, projects that they are trying to, hey, how can I implement a digital transformation? How can I approach a startup? How can I use AI to grow my business? How can I use data to personalize an experience to a client? So I had all these projects around me, and by the beginning of this year, I ended up choosing to move a bit down the value chain, because I was working with a lot of C-level, C-suites, board members, and it's amazing to help the strategic decisions, but you don't see what is happening
Yeah,
um,
you don't get the experience on the ground floor
under
as
the
much.
hood. Yes, so I just wanted to be closer to the action. Let's put it like that.
Yeah.
And then getting close to startups through being a board advisor just allowed me to do this. And Sepad is a connection that I had. So it was my first decision. I end up today working with a few more startups, but at the beginning it was easier to go through them, and that's the cool part, because when you look to it, having the opportunity, and then I can share my first month, uh, I was helping to change a communication of experience, and I didn't realize that we had a misfit into the data, and we ended up exporting the wrong database, and we send out emails to people that didn't need to receive.
Yeah.
And our customer service during the evening just went down because we couldn't hold the calls. And they called me and said, like, what are you doing? And I went like, oh, sorry, I didn't know. And they said, okay, fix it. And that's the cool part, is being able to be there during the action means that you need to respond when the action follows you back. So that's the fun part.
Yeah, for sure. A lot of our listeners now and in the future are both tech folks, but also startup folks. We have a lot of startup folks in our audience, and since you're on the board of a bunch of startup advisories, do you have any advice for them when it comes to their own startups?
Oh, definitely. The first thing is be really precise into using AI. That's the future, but don't oversell it. I think
Mm.
everyone is on the AI hype, and investors and board members, they are looking for outcomes. They are looking for results. They are not looking for, okay, this might happen. Because there is a lot of questioning, not on the overall impact. Everyone is pretty sure of the overall impact, but how we are getting there. So we are missing companies that are looking to applications, how to apply this to the business that drive results. So I think that's the big keynote for a startup founders here. And the second thing is always look to the challenge we have ahead as opportunities. I think we are going to face, if it's not happening already, a lot of changes into the world order. We are coming from globalization, nationalization, protection of the borders. There is a lot going on into, hey, do we regulate more? Do we regulate less? Where are the taxes going? And the business environment has always been complex, but right now I think that there are a lot of opportunities hanging for people to overcome these complexities and create new values from it. I think we still need a lot of efficiency, but there are technologies that are so ready for us to create new things that we haven't seen before. And I think that we are seeing the tip in the iceberg, especially when you're looking for robotics. There's a whole coming field there that it's going to question so much of what we think it can be done or not. That I would say just look to the opportunities, find the right partners, and apply to your business to create new value.
Right partners like Deep Brain AI, huh?
Oh, definitely.
Shameless little plug there, but
Oh, totally deserve it.
yeah, thank you. So tell me, thank you so much for everything you said. Thank you so much for all of your insights. We're coming towards the end of our session today. So I just want to ask, do you have any last pieces of advice, or last thoughts that you'd like to share with us before we hop off?
First of all, thank you, Nick, for the invitation. It was a pleasure, and I hope I managed to share with you everyone a bit
Of course.
knowledge. And I think just last regards, it's don't stop trying. And if you fail first time, try again. Second, try again. And if you keep failing, get back and trying. Uh, don't don't worry much about getting it right on the first time. But while doing so, measure a lot and don't lose focus on what you're looking for. I think we are not in the phase anymore of just this oblivious, just spend anyway and see where it drops. We are in the phase of, okay, we need to create value, and there's a lot of value to be created. So be the ones to do so.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for joining in. This was Tammy Marcato from CPET. Join us next month where we will be interviewing another education tech company that is using AI avatars as AI tutors. And we will also be interviewing the system integrators company that helped them build it. So look out for that. We're very excited to share with that. But in the meantime, if you missed this, feel free to reach out to us on, deepbrain.io. And Tammy, how can they reach out to you?
Please connect me on LinkedIn. You can find me through my name, and I'll be more than pleased to help to connect with anything that I can.
Great. All right, everyone. Thank you, and we'll see you next month. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.